Join me as we learn Chumash for the seventh Torah reading of Parshas Sisa, chapter 34, verse 27. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe. Moshe now descends the mountain. Previously, Moshe was on the mountain with the second set of tablets, and now Moshe is going to descend the mountain after the 40 days and 40 nights that he was there. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, and God says to Moshe, Ksav l'chas advarim ha'ela, write these things. Write down these words for yourself. Ki al pi advarim ha'ela, because according to these words, Korati itcha brisa v'es Yisrael, I have made a covenant with you and the Jewish people. As advarim ha'ela, these words, what is it referring to? These words you can write down, but you cannot document, you cannot write down the oral law. And for that reason, the oral law was continuously given, orally transmitted by tradition from one generation to the next until the end of the Second Temple. After the Second Temple era, 70 years after the Second Temple era, where Rabbi Yehuda Nasi felt that it would get lost, and therefore it had to be documented. Verse 28. Moshe was there with God for 40 days and 40 nights. Lechem lo yachal, bread he did not eat, umayim lo yashtam, water he did not drink. And he then wrote down on the tablets these words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. Verse 29. When Moshe came down Mount Sinai, and the two tablets of the covenant were in his hands. When he came down from the mountain, Moshe did not know. He was not aware that the skin of his face became radiant when God was speaking with him. The word when he came down the second time was on Yom Kippur, when he brought down the last set of tablets. The word koran does not mean horns as mistakenly translated in other places. The word of Yerkanaim, and he had rays of light as the light was coming out as if it was a horn. Where did Moshe get all of a sudden these beautiful radiant lights that was coming from him when he got the second set of tablets but did not have it by the first set of tablets? The rabbis say, this is from when we saw before that God told him, go at the bottom of the mountain by the stone. God gave him then, that I will put my hands on you. That's when God gave him these rays of light. Verse 30. Moshe and Aaron, all the Jewish people saw, and they saw that his skin had become radiant, his face has become radiant. And they were afraid to approach him. Rashi, see how terrible and how strong the power of doing something wrong. Because until the Jewish people haven't done something wrong, haven't done the Avera, transgression, what does it say that the vision was the vision of God? And all the Jewish people were able to see the beauty and the fire, how it consumes, and the Jewish people were able to see that amazing light. They were not afraid to come close, they did not shake. Moshe also is an eagle, but the moment they did the sin of the golden calf, not only were they afraid of the light of God, but now even Moshe's ray of light, they were afraid and they were petrified from coming close to. And Moshe called to them, and Moshe called them, and Moshe called out, and he would have then Aaron and all the leaders of the community would approach him. Vayidaber Moshe aleim, and then Moshe would speak to them. Hanasiim be'eda, k'moy nasieh, the leaders of the community. Vayidaber Moshe aleim, shlichus yishal makim, he would give them over what God told him. Loshin heve kol inyan hazeh, this is talking about the actual events that took place. After Moshe would tell everything to Aaron and the leaders of the Jewish people, afterwards, Nikshu Kol Bnei Yisrael, all the other Jewish people would approach, Vayitzavim, he would command, is Kol Asher Dibar Hashem, everything that God said, Itay to him, Bahar Sinai, on Mount Sinai. 32, Vayidaber Moshe, V'achrechein Nikshu, Acher Shalimid L'skenim, after he taught the elders, Choyz Ramalabed Parsha Halacha Lo Yisrael, he would then teach it again to the Jewish people. Tanur Rabbanu, the rabbis taught. Ketzad, what was the order of how he taught? Ketzad says in our Mishnah, how was the order of learning? Moshe would learn it from God. Nichnas Aaron would then enter. Shanaloi, Moshe Pirk, and then Moshe taught it to him again. Nistalig Aaron went out, V'yoshav le'lismel Moshe, and he sat then to the left of Moshe. Nichnesu vanav, then the children of Aaron came in. V'shan la Moshe pirkim, and Moshe would teach it again. V'nistalkum, they then moved to the side. Yoshav Elazar l'yamin, Moshe v'yisamer l'smel Aaron. Elazar sat to the right of Moshe, and Yisamer sat to the left of Aaron. Nichnesu skenim, then the skenim came inside. V'shan la Moshe pirkim, and Moshe would then learn it with them. Nistalku skenim, the elders would then move to the sides. Yoshvul would stand and sit on the side of Moshe. Nichnesu kalam, then all the people would come in. Shan la Moshe pirkim, and Moshe would teach them the laws. Nimtza comes out. Biyad kala that means everybody else, they learned it echad once. Biyad askenim, the elders learned it shnaim twice. Biyad Aaron learned it 3 times. The children of Aaron 3 times. Biyad Aaron arba, Aaron 4 times. From here we see that when Moshe taught it to the Jewish people, there was 4 times that the Moshe taught it to each one of them. And this way, the Jewish people were able to have the halacha hear it 4 times. Sisa be'eruvin, as it's discussed in the tractate of Eruvin. Verse 33. When Moshe finished speaking with them, Vayitan al panav masva, and he put a veil over his face. Vayitan al panav masva, kedarkumei beis apel, loshen arami, begemoret sviliba, a veil. We find this also in the tractate of Ksubas, where it uses the word amasva, that it would put something on their face, it would look through it. Afkan masva, beged anitin keneged pirtzuf ubeis hanayim. Over here too, when they would talk about the masva, it's a veil that it would put in front of his eyes and would block his eyes. The reason for this was l'chveit karnei hoid, in honor of the rays of light, that not everybody should get them. And he would put it up on it. He would cover the rays of light with this veil. He would take it off when he would speak with the Jewish people, as well when God would speak to him. Until he would leave. When he would leave his tent, when he go out to talk to the Jewish people, he would go out and he stood in front of them, meaning when God would speak to them in the tent, he would take off the veil. Then when he would talk to the Jewish people, he would also walk out to them and without the veil. He would only put the veil back on when he finished learning and teaching the Jewish people. Verse 34. When Moshe would come before God, he would talk to him, he would remove the veil until he would leave. Then he would go out and talk to the Jewish people everything that has been commanded. Verse 35. And then the Jewish people saw the face of Moshe, that it was raised, his skin was radiant with light. Moshe would then return the veil on his face, until God will come to speak with him. Rashi, would speak with the Jewish people, and they saw these radiant of light on his face. And then when Moshe would go away from them, then Moshe would put the veil back on. But when God came with him, he would take it off his face. This concludes the Torah reading of Parshas Ki Sisa.